Hey everyone, it's Mary Ellen and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things related to the storytelling industry. We are starting off yet another vlog. It is Monday morning. I start work in about 30 minutes, so I wanted to record this segment really quick. I'm going to change my shirt and hopefully record my next YouTube video, like my actual scripted YouTube video for you guys. But just a quick recap, my sister did end up making it up for the weekend. We had a really good time. We ended up just kind of hanging out on Saturday. We recorded the rest of our podcast episodes for the season. I spent Sunday editing all of those, and they are set to auto post. If you guys didn't know, we're doing a countdown to Halloween. So we have a new episode going live every night this week at 6 p.m. Chicago time. And then our season 6 finale will be on Halloween. So we are taking an extended break, as I mentioned in my last vlog, because of health issues, and I'm going to work on some side projects on my own. So it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot of personal goals I want to attack this week. One of which is a simple one, but needs to be done, is I need to go through and update all of my socials. I mentioned this, I think, on my quarterly update that I just did, but it sounds really silly, but it needs to be done. It's updating all of my socials to get rid of like the romance author theme, because I had everything romance themed, like pink and gold and flowers and swirls and like, you know, things that were real feminine looking and kind of leaned more towards the romance. And so this week, I think I'm going to knock out switching everything over to more paranormal vibes. Basically, just kind of making it less girly, I guess. Is that the term I'm looking for? Less feminine and more neutral, because it is paranormal. So I need to figure out what that looks like, changing my tagline, changing my about the author section, just all of that kind of stuff needs to be knocked out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure out a way to combine, because I still love my girly stuff. So how do I combine like flowers and pink and like all that, but do it in a paranormal twist? And so I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to be working on that and updating all of my socials, all of my graphics, all that kind of stuff, and just knocking it all out this week. So that's kind of the main goal. I still am working on having 2 YouTube videos a week for you guys. I don't know how long I'll sustain this, but doing a vlog for me is just kind of fun and easy. I can pop up and just talk to you guys about whatever pops in my head during the week, which is kind of therapeutic, to be honest with you guys. Even if no one watches these vlogs, it's very therapeutic to me, and I appreciate the fact that I have the opportunity just to share my thoughts with you guys. But I still am trying to do one purposeful video, and I'm going to talk about paranormal stuff again today. Because it's Halloween season, you guys. It's spooky season. Let's do paranormal. So yeah, social media is the big focus for this week, and then obviously continuing to work on the audiobook. The audiobook is almost all recorded, so hopefully I can knock that out pretty quickly. I think, and think being the key word, that it may be a slightly lighter week at work today. I have a lot of things to do, but I don't have large, like no budget stuff and no forecast stuff. A lot of the stuff that I need to knock out is like the changing rate plans and like kind of more, I don't want to call it, but busy work, time consuming and busy, but not mentally straining. Next week is forecast week. That's a little bit more mentally straining. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a busy week at work, but not a mentally strenuous week at work. I'm hoping, as long as nothing emergency-wise pops up at any of the hotels. So I'm looking forward to getting caught up on some of those things. I know I've talked about that in previous vlogs, that a lot of times it's those little tasks that just take up time, but they're not hard. They just take up time, that end up being put on the back burner. And I really want to knock some of those out this week so that I can go into a busier week next week with less on my plate and I'm more prepared for it. I'm really trying to work on my forecast accuracy, just different things that I'm trying to work on a professional level, because I want to continue getting better at what I do. And one of those is the time management piece. So working on that. And then I think I'm going to start working on, of course, research for my next project. So I have a lot of things on the plate this week that I'm really looking forward to. I'm happy to say that my belly button infection is getting better. So I may get in the hot tub later. We're going to see how it goes. It's pretty much cleared up. There's no more leakage. There's no more like bleeding. So maybe, just maybe, I'll make it in the hot tub. All right, I'll see you in the next segment. Random thought at dinner time. You are in my cabinet. Yes, you are. And I'm going to probably run this through something to take out the noise of my air fryer. But hey, I'm obsessed with the following. Kirkwood chicken breast fillets from Aldi. Okay, I probably have this for a meal once a week because I'm straight up obsessed. So it's about 270 calories per patty, but like they're good size chicken filet patties. So you only really need one unless you're like a big eater. But what I love most about it as a diabetic who has to watch carbs is that although there are 23 grams of carbs here, there are 21 grams of protein. So net carbs is like 2. I love these. And yeah, I just thought I would share that because I'm having chicken for like, I don't know, 5 millionth day in a row. Obsessed. So if you don't have an Aldi in your area, I'm sorry for you. And if you do have an Aldi, find the red bag chicken because yum, yum, yum. Okay, bye. Hello from the hot tub. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better now. The cream and the antibiotic has all of my issues cleared up. And so I've pretty much cleared up. I'm obviously still on antibiotics for a few more days. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get in here. We're going to test out the hot tub a little bit because I do not have any opened weeping wounds now. But I was discussing with my sister because you guys know the hot tub has just been like having water, pool, hot tub, water in general has been life changing for my lymphedema. And so I was talking to my sister about keeping it up and how to keep it up all winter long, but it's an inflatable. It's not a real hot tub. And I did a lot of research trying to figure out the best decision, the best thing to do. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to take down a couple things I looked into was buying one of those like gazebo igloo domes. There's several things out there that are said to be winterproof. I even thought about getting like an ice fishing tent just to keep it up for the winter. But I have not been able to find one from other people on my hot tub groups that have been able to keep one through the elements. So anybody who lives in Chicago, like north, they say that the wind and the snow they've not found anything that can withstand the elements. So it wouldn't be able to be kept outside. Second thing would be I thought about putting it in my garage, but when I was looking at the setup of my garage, there's so many concerns about the garage. First of all, it's the normal, like, moisture, mold, ventilation part of putting it in your garage that concerns me, but also chemical reactions. So chlorine and bromine both interact with metal. Chlorine is a little bit faster acting than bromine, but like it could rust out anything metal in your garage. And my car is in the garage, the electrical box in the garage. I'm like, is it worth a couple months of hot tub to like ruin things in the garage, like especially something as expensive as my car or my electric box. And then I also was concerned from a safety standpoint. So in my backyard, what I like about this location for the pool and the hot tub is I'm visible by my neighbors. I'm fenced in, and in fact, I'm locked in, right? And I can have Rudy with me. So if like something was going on, there was like, because I live in the country, if there's like a raccoon or a coyote or something like that, Rudy's here. But also, if I were to have a medical emergency, if I were to slip and fall, have a heart attack, bump my head, break an arm, who knows, right? My neighbors would notice me. They may not notice me right away, but they would notice me. I have a neighbor who smokes, and so he's out every hour or two. And I have lots of other neighbors that would immediately be like, why is Rudy out at 2 o'clock in the morning? You know what I mean? And they would be like, is everything okay? So it's a safety thing. If I have it in my garage, it's in a section where I'm not easily seen by the neighbors. I have a couple neighbors that may notice me, but it's not as visible as this. And also because of the setup, I wouldn't be able to have Rudy with me. And we do I've had coyotes in my yard before. So like, it's kind of a safety concern. And so I'm like, you know what? We're just going to keep it up here for a couple more weeks and I'll put it down. I'll just take it down, put it in a tote. We'll revisit this in the spring. It's not worth all of the headache and it sucks, but I'll just have to go back to my manual lymphatic massages and my FlexiTouch machine for the few months that make up winter. And then hopefully in like end of March, April, we can pop this bad boy back up and restart it. But yeah, I went like a week and a half without being in the hot tub because of the belly button infection. And my foot is just ginormous. It is so swollen and sore. And I can already feel the pressure coming off of it here in the hot tub. So like, Yeah. And in case you guys don't follow me on TikTok, I don't keep my hot tub as warm as a regular hot tub. So normally people keep their hot tub like above body temperature, so 100 to 104 typically. I keep mine at like 95. So it's still warm, but it's not above body temperature, which is why I get away with having a hot tub. So I get the therapeutic benefits of the hot tub without having the heat. And most of the time, I don't even use the jets. I just sit in here because the pressure of the water is really what takes the swelling down. So it has been life-changing. I'm sad that I have to take it down, but it's just more motivation. I have the goal of saving because a real hard shell hot tub that can withstand the elements that you can keep up all year long, they're expensive, but they're not as bad as you think they are. Like, depending on what model you get, right? Like, I just need like a 4-person because it's just me 90% of the time. So I need like what, maybe a 4 to 6-person hot tub. I don't need no giant hot tub because it's just me. And they have real fancy models with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and lights. And like, I don't need all of that. I just need a basic hot tub. And when I was looking online, you can get just a basic 4 to 6-person hot tub for $4,000, which is a lot of money, but it's not as much money as you think it is. And if you get a plug and play, they sell those at Costco for like $3,000. And plug and play just means they plug into your outlet. So like, you know, I think it's motivation to save up and buy myself the real hot tub because of the therapeutic benefit. So anyway, don't know if you guys actually care, but that's my random thoughts today. I'll see you guys in the next segment. Happy Tuesday, y'all. I start work in about 10 minutes. I got the good coffee. Yay. Yay for coffee. And I'm trying a new flavor of coffee creamer. And then also shout out to the Dollar Tree because I still have a little bit of this Brazilian soul. It's the Dollar Tree knockoff of the Brazilian Bum Bum cream and I'm obsessed. So it's almost gone and I'm going to cry because I only found it one time and it was gone. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. Okay, so I, as you can see, am wet hair and everything, just woke up, just getting ready to get going. Why will the lid not go on? There we go. Problems over here. Anyway, I was sitting last night in my hot tub, kind of brainstorming ideas. And I don't know if any of you guys have this problem, but I have shiny object syndrome. Meaning that I've got 5 million ideas that I need to organize and actually come up with a plan for. And I'm realizing with my writing career, I need almost a business plan or a roadmap because I'm kind of just fluttering around. And I know that I've just recently changed to the more of a paranormal focus, which totally fine. I've actually lost a few listeners in the last couple of weeks due to the shift in paranormal, and that's totally fine. I get it, right? Because I went from romance to paranormal, and some people just don't care about paranormal. But I was like, how do I expand and how do I keep growing momentum? And I know that I'm already working on my next book, researching. And I was like, what else can I do? You know, I had the idea of, and actually I'm looking over here because I had the idea of doing brainstorming course ideas because remember I told you guys I'm going to do like affordable courses for authors and I still want to do that, but I need to sit down at some point this week and really start coming up with a roadmap. So what am I doing now? What am I doing in 6 months? What am I doing in a year? Like there needs to be a plan of where you're going because I also had the idea of doing another paranormal podcast because I love podcasting. I'm not going to lie. I freaking love podcasting. But I was like, but I need to streamline. There needs to be a plan and how is this going to work? Because I also feel like I have so many ideas that I'm going to get too many things going. Like, I was so excited about my weight loss channel that I created on YouTube because I thought that TikTok was going to be shut down. TikTok did not get shut down. And so that channel's just kind of sitting there. I still have my author podcast called Stories in Progress. In case you guys didn't know, basically it's just a podcast version of my YouTube channel. But as you guys know, I have gotten away from doing author teaching type videos, like the ISBN video and how to co-author book video. Like I did several videos that were like teaching other writers how to write type videos with things that I've learned over the years. And I still enjoy that podcast, but you guys know that I don't consistently get on here and talk about lessons to help other writers. I still want to incorporate that, but I don't incorporate it enough for that to be a consistent podcast. Like, I don't think I've really done, it's been a couple months since I've uploaded to that podcast because I haven't had anything. And realistically, people who are listening to the podcast version of Stories in Progress are there for writing tips. They don't care about my ghost stories. They don't care about my weekly vlog. Like, I had the idea of mixing up the channel content and maybe having like 2 to 3 videos per week, but having them serve different purposes. And that would be like, one video would be for the Stories in Progress. What's some kind of writing tip, trick, something I've learned, something that can apply to writing. And then maybe incorporating some of my paranormal stuff into some sort of paranormal podcast, because again, I am realizing that not everybody who is following me on this channel cares about the ghost stuff, because some of you guys followed me when I was writing kissing books. Like, you don't care about they're kissing and there's a ghost in the background. No one cares. You know what I mean? So it's like something paranormal-ish, but have that filter into a paranormal podcast. And maybe I love telling ghost stories, so I even thought about, do I have one video where I'm telling a ghost story and it goes down to a podcast about ghosts so that it's streamlined, you know what I mean? And then still continue with the weekly vlog, because I'm loving the weekly vlogs, and still continue with a weekly vlog like on Friday or something like that, Friday or Saturday. And this is where I'm having trouble. I want to connect with other authors because you guys are my support system. I have made so many really good friends, and even those of you guys that we're not friends, but we comment on each other's, like I have a few of you and you know who you are. You comment on like every video that I post, or you give me a thumbs up on every video that I post. And I try to do the same to you, even though with my health issues, I have been terrible at it lately. But like, I know who you are and you know who I am. And you guys are the reason I show up every week, because honestly, I don't have like a giant YouTube channel, but those of you who comment every week make me feel like I'm seen, like I have somebody in my corner. And so I keep pushing. I don't want to backtrack on what brought those people to my channel, but I also don't want to just grow author friends. I also want to grow readership. I want people who are going to read my books. How do you balance both? And somebody was like, well, just make a second YouTube channel. I'm like, I don't know that I don't know that that's necessary. Maybe it is, but I feel like that would actually be more work than just keeping everything under Mary Ellen Quigley, because I am who I am, but just streamlining those through like, here's the podcast connected to my channel that is author stuff. Here's the podcast connected to my channel that is paranormal stuff. And then here's just me being me. I think that might be a good way to like clean up the YouTube channel, but I don't know what that looks like yet. So I'll let you guys know. Obviously, you'll get to view it in real time. And then obviously focusing on the book. So like, I have a goal that I want to have a paranormal book written and released by Q2 of next year. April, May, June. I want a book that is completely written and ready for being released. If I choose to self-publish, because I am also contemplating trying to get my paranormal books traditionally published. I already have a book that's traditionally published. I loved working with the company I worked with, and I would love to work with them again. I would like to try getting that traditionally published again. I still love self-publishing. There will absolutely be paranormal books that I self-publish, but I really enjoyed working with a traditional publisher. I did. I think that it also depends on your genre. So I'm going to be real with you guys, just from my experience. It could be different for everybody. So please do not take what I'm saying as like gospel. For certain types of genres, I think self-publishing makes sense. If you are doing romance, self-publishing, if you get the right marketing, if you get the right TikTok engagement, you're going to make way more sales, way more money, and way more engagement self-publishing if you tap into the right venues. But When it comes to other genres, the traditional publishing is really your best way of getting your book out there. And I'm finding that for paranormal nonfiction books, that traditional route is definitely more viable to get your book in the hands of readers. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't self-publish, and that doesn't mean that I won't self-publish. But I have the goal of having this book completely researched and written, preferably early. So like I'm giving myself a deadline of I want that book done by April. Like end of March, like by the time Easter hits, I want that book done. That is my personal goal. With the idea that at that time, I'm going to start hitting up my publishers and querying the book. Hey, we might be hitting some real good author topics with Mary querying again. But the last time I queried, I was querying with romance books. Because you guys know, if you don't, I'll put it somewhere. My sister and I were approached by a publisher. We didn't query our book. They approached us because of our podcast. So I have not queried a nonfiction paranormal book. And querying makes you want to drink. I'm just saying, I said what I said. Okay, it's not easy. But anyway, yeah, I think I need to sit down old school with a piece of paper. I kid you not. Bust out my notebook paper. And I need to come up with a plan. I'm calling it a business plan, but it's not really a business plan. I need a plan. Like, what am I working on? How am I doing it? What does it look like? And I need it written down because right now I'm just kind of fluttering through all of the stuff. And you're not going to make progress if you don't have a plan. Meanwhile, I have to go to work. I have 1 minute to get logged in. So I'm going to hop off here and I will see you guys later. Good morning, friends. It is Wednesday, and if you know anything about me, you will know that I do not like Wednesday. Wednesday is one of those days of the week where I'm just like, oh, God. And it's really just from a work perspective, it's just my busiest day of the week. I have a couple of meetings on Wednesday that stress me out so badly every week. And then it's just busy in terms of like to-do list items because things start piling up on Wednesday. And because I'm so busy with meetings on Wednesday and on Thursday, there's not usually time to tackle most of those to-do list items, so I get really stressed out. And also, this is the day that I usually work a little bit later. I'm a little phlegmy today. The weather's all over the place here in Indiana. Long story short, that is also why I take Rudy to daycare on Wednesday, because Wednesday tends to be I'm in a chair, glued, don't even get a lunch break, barely have time for the bathroom, working till 7 p.m., 8 p.m. kind of day. Every week. It never fails. And Wednesday ends up being my bad day of the week. So I went and took Rudy to daycare and I got a good coffee because I was like, I'm going to need all the caffeine in the world to make it through Wednesday. But I did spend some time last night. I got into my hot tub again. I am like a hot tub fiend. But I'm trying to be careful because also my doctor had the discussion of I could have gotten the belly button infection, number one, because of my hernia, but also maybe I'm using the hot tub too much. So he recommended taking a break from don't get in every day, maybe get in a couple days in a row and then take a day break. Or get in every other day, which kind of, because I would be in that thing every day for an hour if I could, but it's not doing my skin any favors. So anyway, yeah, so I'm not going to get in tonight because I work late tonight anyway. So anyways, I did spend some time after hot tubbing going through plans, because remember on my segment earlier, I was talking about business plans and coming up with a plan for my writing career. And I did find a template that someone else made that I'm going to try to alter to make more what I'm looking for. And then when I get done, I will share the link to that original person's product. And then I will show you guys my version that I come up with. And then you guys can see if those are helpful. Maybe they're helpful, maybe they won't, but I'll share my goodies with you guys just in case you find them helpful. And then I made a decision because I'm trying to go digital. So you guys know I do a weekly overview, which is a little bit more of like, these are my main goals for the week, right? And then I have my monthly calendar I update. This is so I just have a quick view of things that are going on in the month that I'm in. I'm really loving the weekly planner. I know you guys can see part of it, but not all of it. It just gives you it's basically this here, right? But then I have my goals, some major to-dos, and any notes for things I need to follow up on. And I do find that really helpful. And then my actual daily to-do list, I have on Microsoft To Do. And again, if you guys want to see more, if you've never used Microsoft To Do, it's kind of like Google Keep, but I like it better. So I'll show it to you. But anyways, long story short, I have not opened this. Remember how I was afraid this wouldn't last the year? Y'all, it lasted the year. It is October, end of October, and this thing is still going. It's a little beat up, but she's going strong. But I tell you what, I have not opened. In fact, this is the week we're in now. Look, there's nothing written. Like previous weeks, I have a whole bunch, I have a whole slew, look at that, of things. I have nothing this week because I've been doing digital. So I don't think I'm going to buy a paper planner for next year. I've had a paper planner since 5th grade. No, 3rd grade. So that's a big deal for me. However, I did go and get myself just one of these. That's just the monthly overview. And the reason I like this is for doctor's appointments, right? Like I've already got some doctor's appointments like in February, because if I don't have it in here, I'm going to forget about them. And a lot of people are like, put it on your phone. And yes, that's true. But I've had my phone crap out on me or something not sync correctly, and then I lose an appointment. So I like to have it written down somewhere. And then obviously I transfer what's in here to here when I get into the month. But so far the digital switch seems to be working well. So I got this. This is all I have. We'll see. I mean, I'm going to try this for a few months here. I'm going to finish out the year and see how this goes. But right now, I'm actually really liking being digital. And also, I'm liking that my to-do list, I don't have to carry a paper planner. My to-do list is in my phone. My phone goes with me everywhere. And it's online. So even if I lose my phone, it's online. But I still keep my main weekly goals here so that I always have them someplace else as well. I don't know. So far, it's working. So, like I said, I can show you guys more about Microsoft To Do, but I'm really liking it a lot better than Google Keep, which is why I was still doing a paper planner. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. I have a really busy work day. I have about 10 minutes before I have to go to work, so I'm going to go freshen up and mentally prepare myself. I always tell myself every week, if I can just make it through Wednesday, everything will be okay. I just gotta make it through Wednesday. So I'm going to make it through Wednesday today. See you guys in the next one. Hello, friends. It is Thursday and not a whole lot to update you guys on for yesterday because I actually ended up working really late. So as you guys know, Wednesday is my busy day. I've said this to you guys a million times. Ended up having a to-do list that was like a mile long, it felt like. So when I got off of work, I left at like 5:30. I went and I got my dog from daycare, made dinner, did a couple errands around the house. Like I had some dishes, some laundry that needed to be switched around. I vacuumed, that kind of thing, because my dog is shedding still. So I have to vacuum like almost every day at this point because there's hair everywhere. And then I went back to work around 7:30 to work on some of those checklist items I needed to get done. And I worked until almost 10 o'clock. It was like 9:45. And then at 10 o'clock, I went and just kind of vegged. I scrolled TikTok for like 30 minutes and then read a book for a little bit and took a shower and went to bed. And that was all I did. So you didn't miss much. I think today I have another very busy day. I've got about 4 hours worth of work meetings today and a long list of things that need to be done today as well. So I think I'm probably, when I get off of work today, I'm just going to get in the hot tub for a little while. And as far as like writing stuff goes, I would like to start working on my business plan because like I said, I have a lot of ideas, but how do I organize those ideas into a plan so that I know where I'm going with everything. And so I'm going to try to work on that a little bit tonight after I'm go hot tubbing. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm excited that tomorrow is Friday. I am absolutely ready for the weekend, but I'm actually kind of sad because tomorrow is Halloween. I usually love Halloween. I like handing out candy because I like seeing all the different costumes. It reminds me of when I was little, blah, blah. But I was looking and I signed up for some activities on the weekend that unfortunately I'm actually not going to be home. And if the time that I am home, I'm unavailable because I have an online course that I'm taking. And so I'll be here for part of trick-or-treating time, but I'm not going to be available to pass out candy. Which I guess is okay because last year we only had like 30 trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood anyway. But I was like, darn, I don't want to be the house that has no, I don't want to be that neighbor. So I need to figure out, like, I know that the usual signal is to turn off your lights, but I have motion sensor lights on my house. So I'm kind of like, how is this going to work? I need to like put a sign up or something that's like, Happy Halloween. I don't have any candy. Sorry. I hate to be that house, but also I know in my neighborhood, if you put the bowl out and you're like, please take one, they're going to take the whole bowl. So yeah. Anyway, so no trick-or-treaters for me, but I was having a conversation with my sister because I'm so excited that we're coming up to the weekend. And we were talking about how when we were younger, our dad used to always say that when you get older, time goes by faster. And I didn't know what he meant by that, but as an adult, I think I figured it out. And I think it's because we live, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, like me included, live for the weekend because you're working Monday through Friday. And you know, you figure out a good chunk of your day is taken by work, right? Which is normal because everybody works. But a good chunk of your day is taken by work. And then when you get off work, you have things you have to do. And I don't even have a spouse and kids, but if you have a spouse and kids, you've got things you got to do. So usually you're not really doing things for yourself during the week. You might get an hour or two of things for yourself. And you guys know I get in my hot tub because it helps my lymphedema. So I have that I do. It's not really like, oh, what an inconvenience to get in your hot tub. But I'm just using it as an example. So like you might get a couple hours, but for the most part, the only real uninterrupted you time that you get is maybe Friday evening and like Saturday, Sunday. So I feel like a lot of times when you get in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're kind of living for the weekend, and I'm guilty for this. I'll be like, it's Monday, I just got to make it through the week. And like today, I'm like, it's Thursday, one more day until the weekend. But then you begin to realize that you're living for the weekend. And because of that, it does feel like time goes by quicker because you're not really living, you're existing during the week and you're living on the weekend. And so it's a weird dynamic. And one of the things I really wanted to do this year that I really haven't accomplished is finding that better work-life balance, because my biggest issue, and after many different jobs in the last, since COVID, I have learned that I'm the problem. I've said this before. I'm the problem because I like to be the overachiever. I want to go over and above. I want to be the best. I want to be someone that you can depend on. If you need me, I am there. But by being that person, I add more to my workload because I'm also the one who volunteers to help. Hey, can you pop a 10-minute meeting on 15, 20, 30-minute meeting on your calendar because I need help with XYZ? And I'd be like, absolutely. Or I'm going on vacation. Can you watch my hotels next week? Absolutely. I'm that person who I always say yes. And I'm realizing that I need to learn to say no. And I'm not good at saying no because I don't want to be the weakest link. I don't want to be the person that, she's not a team player. You know what I mean? And I don't know, somebody recommended a book it was actually called Boundaries. And I think it has like a work version. I think it's a relationship version. It has a work version. I don't know. But somebody recommended it. I probably need to check it out because I think that if I learned to set better boundaries, I'd be a better employee and I'd be happier in my personal life. But I am my own worst enemy because I volunteer to just take on way too much all the time. And so, yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. And because of that, I kind of live for the weekend. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to have much interesting to add to this conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this vlog. Kind of a boring week a little bit. But hey, I hope that maybe the author plan is something you guys find helpful. And next week, I'm going to try to spend more time vlogging my actual writing activities. I'm going to try to figure out how to sprinkle them in throughout the week. So wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. And if you like this vlog, make sure to give me a thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. Leave me a comment. Let me know how your week is going. What are you working on this week? All that good stuff. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.